you reach a point where you have a critical mass, where you really need, I don't know how many. The way it happens, because you reach a point where you have a critical mass, where you really need to start writing. As my wife would say about our three daughters, she said, you come to a point where you realize this baby has to come out. And that's how it was and how it is with books. You realize you have to start writing. You just feel that you need to get something down on paper. So I always start with what I refer to as my 1 page a day period, where I get up early, like around 5 o'clock. My goal is 1 good page a day. I write every day, 7 days a week. The only day I take off is Christmas. 1 page a day, and then the rest of the day is devoted to research. Gradually, and sometimes quite quickly, that 1 page becomes 2 pages, becomes 3 pages, and the next thing I know, I'm in the full-throated pursuit of the written first draft, and some of the research continues actually to the very end, but I try very hard then to have this really good first draft, and then I start rewriting. I am a compulsive rewriter. I rewrite, I rewrite, I rewrite. I don't know how many drafts I've done. I think if you were to look at each sentence in the book, each sentence has probably been part of a rewrite at least 20 times. The book is about Winston Churchill and how he and his family and his close inner circle actually went about surviving the German bombing campaign against London and Britain. This book has a very particular point of origin. My wife and I moved to New York City 4 or 5 years ago from Seattle. And as soon as I arrived, I had a kind of an epiphany about 9/11, about what it had to have been like for New Yorkers compared to what I experienced in Seattle. Now, I watched the whole the day unfold in real time on CNN. But coming to New York, I realized how intensely different it had to have been for people here, not just because they heard the sirens, they saw the smoke, but also because of that sense of violation of their home city. And I started thinking, well, you know, what would that have been like in London? What would that have been like for Londoners who experienced 57 consecutive 9/11s and a series of escalating raids after that for that period of 8 months? How do you cope? I was really trying to get a sense of what it was actually like to have endured the bombing of London and of Britain on a daily basis. Like, what do you do when for 57 consecutive nights your home city is being bombed by the Germans? And when for 6 months after that, at larger intervals, but with increasing aggression, you are bombed again until essentially May 10, 1941, a period of about 8 months. Was actually quite a challenge, only because so much has been written about Winston Churchill over the years. And I had to make a decision that I was not going to actually try to read everything that's been written, because that's kind of a fool's errand. I could spend 10 years trying to read and never actually read everything. So I decided just to read certain elements of the Churchill canon, enough to understand the landscape, and then to dive right into the archives, which is where I really feel very, very comfortable, very much at home, and where all the good stuff tends to lie. What I came to realize is how much fun he could be to be around. There is a frivolous side to Churchill's character that often does not come through in accounts and even films. One of my favorite scenes is where he is at the prime ministerial country home, Chequers. One night, he's wearing his blue siren suit, and he's dressed in a gold silk dragon nightdress, and he's holding a Mannlicher rifle with a bayonet, and he's doing bayonet drills to the strains of martial music played on a gramophone, much to the delight of his audience, who were guests who were staying that night.